Relocating to North Texas in 2025, here's the ultimate moving guide. So you're thinking about moving to North Texas in 2025. I'm sure you've seen the glorious camera roll of all of the beautiful homes in North Texas, the barbecue, the events, all of the restaurants and bars, and even the new Dallas North Tollway.
But here's the truth. Relocating is so much more than just picking a pretty house or the perfect neighborhood. You really need to understand all of the hidden costs, taxes, insurance, all of the day-to-day living that could either change your perfect home into exactly what you expected or a super stressful next step in your journey.
That's why today we're sharing the ultimate guide of moving to North Texas. By the end of the video, you should have a clear and confident path on what it's going to look like if you decide to move to North Texas in the future.
Before we get started, I'm Holly Haven.
And I'm Andy Haven.
And we are the Haven Home Team. We are your North Texas resource for all things real estate. We want to make sure that you feel really confident before making that move to North Texas. So stay tuned to the very end for a bonus tip that could save you thousands.
Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe if you like this video and want more content like it in the future. We do post every Friday.
Let's start with where to live. There are so many options.
This is a big decision.
So if you're thinking of kind of that North Texas area, you've probably heard of Frisco, McKinney, Prosper, Salina. There's also a ton of outlying areas, but maybe you're considering something a little closer to DFW Airport or on the Fort Worth side. And you might be considering places like Keller, Haslett, Justin, some of the other up and coming areas on what I would call that side of the world.
Yeah, that's the 35 side of the world. We're on the 75 side of the world. That's generally how we kind of differentiate those areas. But all of these up and coming areas have new neighborhoods with new builds, larger lots, less expensive. So there's lots of options out there.
And we can't forget the mid-cities because there are some well-established areas, Southlake, Grapevine, Bedford, Hearst. We have some of these older areas that are definitely being rejuvenated, homes are being updated, and there's just so many options depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah, and that area is very close to DFW Airport, so if that's something that you need to commute close to the airport, those are going to be great options. The Fort Worth areas that we talked about are going to be quieter, more peaceful, again, newer neighborhoods. And the North Texas area is just booming like crazy, and it's, again, lots of new builds. We still do have some of those older neighborhoods with some character out in Allen, and as we move up kind of the 75 corridor in Van Alstyne, we can get you some of those older houses for renovations. Other than that, though, Salina is going to be the place for new builds and just kind of that all the amenities and the big, huge neighborhoods that you might be looking for or you see on TV.
But the great news is no matter what you're looking for or what your needs are, whether it's highly rated schools, maybe you're looking for that perfect commute, older neighborhoods, newer neighborhoods, there is something for everyone when we start talking about North Texas or that greater DFW Metroplex, which we are very familiar with, and we can help our clients kind of figure that out depending on what their needs are.
Next, we want to talk about the housing market in North Texas. So in the DFW area, on average, the median home price is going to be around $350 to $400, just depending on where you're at. We have some options ranging all the way from the 300s and 400s all the way up to couples of millions, multi-millions. There's options. And it's one of those things where we've seen the housing market change a lot over the last 3 years. We went from an absolutely booming market to a very slow market. Now we have lots of inventory, not many buyers, but home prices are coming down. We're seeing a more level market. So it's one of those things that you're kind of looking at it and you're like, do I wait for interest rates to drop? Probably not. We're at a very average interest market right now.
Yeah.
But if it's not the right time to sell because there's too much inventory on the market, how am I going to find a buyer?
Yeah, these are all the factors that we help our clients kind of work through. What is the perfect timing? If you don't have to sell, this might actually be a huge impact on your decision.
Absolutely.
But if you're being relocated for your job, none of this really matters. You need to find that perfect new community or that perfect new house or whatever your needs may be. So really understanding the housing market, what you can do to kind of get the most out of it for you is really going to be the important factor.
Yeah, and one of our previous videos, we actually talk about some of the renovations or updates you can make to your home to make sure that you're getting the most value out of your updates. And that might be something you want to look at if you're looking at selling your home right now, making those important upgrades that are going to bring you the most value and comp with other homes in your neighborhood. That's something we can help with. If you need to know those numbers, go ahead and let us know. Drop your address. Go ahead and DM us.
Yeah.
We can look at your address and see what we think would be the best upgrades for your home to bring you the most value.
The rental home market, for example, right? If you need to rent for a short period of time, you need to know the neighborhood, you need to know the zoning for schools, and how long are you going to be there? So understanding that market and when to start searching is going to be should be a big help.
Yeah, and the rental market, now that we're talking about that, we've seen it kind of slow down a little bit. We're seeing rental market prices kind of level out, not be as outrageous, but you also have to understand that these rental market rates are high because these landlords do have to pay their property taxes, which increase every year. So if you feel like the rental market rates are going up every single year, that's the reason.
Yeah, you just mentioned those property taxes going up every year.
Yep, that's definitely something that as the landlord or the tenant, we're all feeling the pain.
The homeowners, right?
Yeah.
Every homeowner, you're making your mortgage payment. So even though we do not have state income tax, we do offset some of that in Texas by having higher property taxes and higher property insurance. So really just understanding exactly what's happening in the housing market and what area that you're purchasing in is going to be a huge impact on your bottom line.
Yeah, and if your lender is not giving you an estimate prior to making an offer on these properties, the estimate with your mud and pit included, with your property taxes, with your insurance, all of these things, please reach out to us, let us know. We can go ahead and refer a lender that would get you everything you need.
Yes, education and being a resource is really almost more important than that final approval piece, because any lender can get you a final approval. Not every lender will actually assist you and guide you through that whole process.
Yeah.
Cost of living. We talked about some of this in that last little point where we talk about our higher property taxes, higher insurance rates, but really what we're seeing is our insurance is higher because of wind and hail damage, things of that nature that mean that we are pretty consistently either having roof damage that needs repair, maintenance, even replacement every 2 to 5 years in some cases. So those things do impact your cost of living because you might not be accustomed to a 2% deductible on your roof replacement. But that has become more common and is probably what most of our home buyers will expect to see now and in the coming years. Yeah. So, really having those things up front and center and knowing what to expect, because if you move into the home, all of your, monthly bills are affordable. Mm-hmm. And then we have one of those major hailstorms come through. If you have a 2% deductible and you need a new roof, you could easily be looking at $8, $10, $16, $20,000 out of pocket. And that's when insurance is covering the rest of the roof.
Other than that, we have to consider our utilities, cost of living just in general of living in each city. If you're going to live somewhere that's hustle and bustle, you're going to live right off the tollway, we need to take into consideration that you're going to have to be paying tolls. You're probably going to be paying more for food and drinks in more lively areas. And other than that, gas prices closer to the city are more expensive. Utilities such as water in the city of Salina are much higher than cities like Plano, Frisco, Allen. Other than that, electricity is pretty standard across the board. And going off of that with electricity costs, also finding a home that's energy efficient. Sometimes it makes more sense to go with a newer home versus an older home. If the systems haven't been updated in 25 years, you're obviously going to save a lot more money on a new build when it comes to electricity bills. Yeah. The jobs and economy in North Texas are something that bring lots of corporations and just people in business in general, lots of tech, aviation, medical, healthcare. So many different industries are moving to North Texas because we do not have that state income tax, which seems to be a huge, huge draw for a lot of these large companies.
Yeah, and the state of Texas has been doing a lot of large incentives, tax incentives for these big companies to move their corporations. So we have seen that have a huge impact over the last 5 to 10 years. And we don't expect that really to slow down.
No, I think North Texas is going to be a hub for quite a while. We still are seeing some big companies pop up in Sherman, which is on the border of Texas and Oklahoma. Yeah. We're seeing all of North Texas blow up with these big, big corporations. So if you are a part of some of these big corporations, just know that you might have an opportunity to move to North Texas soon.
Right, lucky you, especially depending on where you're coming from. If you are being relocated for work, you probably want to know exactly what the expectations are for that job. We know that we personally had several clients who, maybe they went to fully remote kind of during the COVID times, and now they've been called back into the office, and it completely changed things because we had clients who moved a pretty good distance away from their office because they did not have to commute any longer, and now they're having to go back into the office at least part-time. So knowing what the expectation is before you get here should make a pretty big impact on your decision of where to live. Schools and education. Many families, when they do that quick school search, they're going to come up with Frisco ISD.
Yeah,
right?
this is a huge one. I think anybody, even outside of the state of Texas, knows what Frisco ISD is.
Absolutely. So it is a very large school district. They have, oh my gosh, I get this wrong every time. I want to say it's 13 high schools now.
I believe it's 15, actually.
Oh, well, look at that. Things change every day. But it's a highly rated school district, and they keep their campuses slightly smaller than some of the other districts around us, which means they're in a 5A class rating instead of a 6A class rating. That just has to do with the number of students within the campus. But it does change things like the competitiveness of sports, right? If you're in a 6A school and you're competing against other 6A schools, these are really, really strong sports teams.
Yeah.
So the great thing is all across North Texas, we have very, very highly rated schools all the way throughout, and fully rated school districts where you'll get an entire school district that's A or A+. But we do find that the majority of families in North Texas do take advantage of the highly rated school districts.
Yeah, absolutely. We're starting to see options for charter schools pop up as well, which is really cool. Towards the Fort Worth area, you're going to see a few more charter schools in that area just because their public schools are not as highly rated depending on the area. And other than that, we are looking at colleges. This is something that we have a huge advantage of that I didn't realize as a kid. But you grow up where there's 25 college campuses within 5 hours of North Texas. And there's so many college options. And it's something that you can take in, you can take advantage of the in-state tuition,
Yeah. And then on top of that, we have Collin College and things of that, all throughout the Metroplex. We have, each county kind of has their own, but those are now 4-year colleges, and you can get a full 4-year degree. They have nursing programs, they have fire academies, really everything from general education all the way through a ton of different options, career options.
Yeah.
And those are very, very cost-effective options.
We wanted to talk about how we get around North Texas. What does that transportation look like? Can I take the bus? The answer is no. Dallas is a very car-centric area. It's something that you definitely 100% need a car, scooter, something that's electric. I would suggest an electric scooter, not a push scooter. These are, you're going to be on the tollway 99% of the time. So go ahead and get that toll tag.
Toll tag. Yeah.
Wow, toll tag early. If you have a toll tag on the tollway, it actually does give you a significant discount. And if you realize that, oh my gosh, I never got my toll tag, please get one because your bill will significantly decrease. Yeah. They're also very nice and helpful.
You definitely need a car and you definitely need a toll tag. If you are moving from someplace that is much more public transportation, this is going to be potentially a big change for you. We are getting the new Dart Silver, which is opening up this month, actually October of 2025. And that's going to be a really good resource for people trying to get to DFW Airport.
But if you do live in Dallas, downtown Dallas, tall buildings, you want to live in a high rise, that is fairly walkable. I still would not say it's 100% walkable. I would say if you're a 2-person household, you probably at least need one car. Yeah. But you're still not going to find anything that's 100% walkable in Dallas, in my opinion.
Yeah, Dallas is definitely set up differently than a lot of other big cities. Yeah. And it does surprise people pretty often when they move here. They've not been to Dallas and they're surprised at how it is very different. It's not as walkable. It's not as contained in one space. You have a lot of different areas of downtown. And so those areas are walkable kind of within themselves, but not from one to the other. It's just a little bit different layout than a lot of other big cities. We're so glad you stayed to the end for the bonus tip because we have a 30-day relocation checklist that we think is really going to be helpful. So we definitely recommend that you start with just a full list of what your expenses are going to be, right? Your mortgage, your taxes, your insurance, your utilities, those will be estimated, but at least we can get a good idea. Even your commute, we can help you estimate your toll tags on that kind of daily commute basis. Those things are going to be a huge impact in your day-to-day spending.
If your permanent home isn't ready yet, go ahead and secure some short-term housing, maybe a long-term house if it's 12 months or more. And go ahead and just get all of that in order so that's less stress whenever you get here.
Absolutely. If there's any little gap in, that move, you want to have some place to go. We don't have a ton of what is that kind of hotel style living? That's that short-term living.
Especially the further north you get.
Yeah, we don't have a ton of that. So you'll definitely want to secure that in advance. Set up the essentials in advance. So going ahead and understanding how and when and where you can get your driver's license in Texas, get that vehicle registration, go ahead and register the toll tag, all of those little things that are just going to make the day-to-day a little bit easier.
Yeah, and go ahead and get some quotes from insurance providers just so that you have an idea, again, going back on your monthly expenses, just so that you know what it's going to look like, especially if you aren't moving in immediately. Go ahead and take some time, get some recommendations from people in the area, or we can give you recommendations as well for people we trust and suggest using.
And once you close on that home, you will want to file for your homestead exemption immediately, which means you do need that Texas driver's license. So go ahead and have those things in place so that when you do close on the home, you can file your homestead tax exemption for this year or the following year, depending on when you move in, because it will save you approximately, right now it's $100,000. We're looking to pass a bill that is $140,000 off of the total value. Appraised value will come off of your tax assessment. So it really is a big savings. And we do remind our clients immediately after closing and 30, 60, 90 days later to ensure that they don't forget.
If you liked this video and found it to be very helpful and knowledgeable, please go ahead and like, subscribe, and come back for our videos every Friday.
If you have questions or anything that we didn't mention in this video, please feel free to drop that comment below or reach out to us directly. We would love to be a resource for you. As we mentioned in the beginning, I am Holly Haven.
And I'm Andy Haven.
And we are the Haven Home Team. We are your North Texas resource for all things real estate.
We'll see you in our next video. Bye, guys.
Bye.